This is the Galaxy G5 PDW. It's just like the Galaxy G5 except for a couple differences. It has the bigger orange tip on it, and then it also has the folding rear stock, whereas in the G5K it doesn't have stock at all. So basically I'm going to be showing you how to put the battery in, load the magazine, and eventually firing the gun. So this one's a little bit different for the fact that you have to take the orange tip off. Now, this could sometimes be tricky depending on who you are, but for the most part it's easy. This one always be black, sometimes it'll be orange. Basically what you have to do is just grab the orange tip with your hand and then put your thumb on this, and you'll feel the grooves on here, and then just push down, and then you gotta kind of push down and then push up at the same time. And then once you do that, you'll see it's now in an up position and not down anymore. That means it's unlocked, and you can just simply turn and pull it off. The reason we have to do that is because we have to pull this off. And this is, one piece from here to here and all the way down to here, one piece foregrip. So what we have to do to pull it off is, you'll see this ring. This ring's actually a pin, and all you have to do is flip the gun over, and then you may want to get a screwdriver or pliers or something like that, because this pin has a little spring that sticks out. So what I like to do is I'll just take the screwdriver, keep it vertical or upright, and then push the spring into the pin, and then you push the pin from this side, and then once you have it to about there so it's flush with the plastic, you just flip it right back over and then pull it out, and there's your pin with the ring on the end for the sling. Now with this one, same thing. Just go ahead, this is all one piece, so just go ahead and grab it firmly, and then with one quick movement just pull it towards the front, and it should come right off. And then you'll see the battery connector, and then you may be wondering where the battery goes, and that's what we're going to get to next. Now the folding stock is just like the plate on the back of the Galaxy G5K. You have the two pins that push through to the other side. So what you're going to do is just push down on the pins, because you want to push them through to the other side. So just push down that one, push them down as far as you can go, and then flip it over, and then you pull the pins out. So there goes the pins, and then this simply just comes away from the back. Now what you'll see in here, you'll see part of the gearbox, you'll see the wires, then you'll see this empty cavity. That's where the stick battery comes in. Now what you want to do before is try to get the connectors as straight as possible. It doesn't always happen, but work with it as best you can. And then all these stick batteries always have this wire that runs down one side, and this little cavity right here has a corner on each end. So what you want to do is try to get that wire that's running down the stick battery to go on one of the corners, and then it should help you. It shouldn't be as tight. And sometimes it'll get stuck, so if it gets stuck, pull it out, and then try it in a different position. Go ahead and put it back in. Now once you get it in, you'll see the connector kinda right there. I don't know if you can see it that well in the camera, but for the most part, if you keep pushing it back in, the connector will start to come out from right here. That's a good thing. Sometimes you have to take a screwdriver, kind of shove it in there and pry it down a little bit. Other times you can get it with your finger. But for the most part, you want to push the battery in and then grab the connector with your finger and just kind of help the battery come through the little area, the battery holder area. And then, like every other gun, just connect the battery connectors. This gun has a tight spot on where the battery connectors will go, so sometimes you have to push it, use a little bit of force, get it to stay in there. Once that's done, go ahead and take the foregrip again, and just do what you did to get it out in reverse to put it back on. So just one swift motion as you settle it right there over the barrel, and just pull straight back, and then it should lock in. Now this pin that goes in here is the one where the spring sticks out the side. So that gets annoying if you pull it on, off, on and off, on and off. So what you're going to want to do is, if you want to charge the battery, you have to get either pliers or, like I said, a screwdriver, and you have to push the spring into the pin to get it to go in the hole. But after you get it to go in the hole, then you don't have to worry about it until you have to charge the battery again. Now we need to put the back of the gun back together. Now we're going to go ahead and just put this folding stock on. It pretty much goes one way, even though you can kind of put it on there no matter what way you want, but there's one specific way that it goes, and you'll notice that the bigger one's going to want to go on the top while the smaller part goes on the bottom. So just go ahead and insert it, and then just to make sure it's lined up, you can take a look through the holes, and if you can see there's no objections or objects or debris or anything like that, then you're good to go ahead and put the pin back in. And after you've done the top one, just go ahead and put the bottom one back in, make sure it pushes all the way through, and you're all set, and it's locked on there. To use this, don't automatically push it because you'll end up breaking it. So what you want to do to fold the stock in is grab it from here, lift up, and then twist. And every time you lift up, you'll see this pop out. When you pull it down, it goes back to normal. So pull up and then twist it around, and then it'll lock right there. And once you have that, then your gun's pretty much together. And we're going to move on to the high cap magazine. So take your BBs, you're going to open the trap door. You can usually do it with your fingers. Sometimes you can use your fingernail, or if it's that stuck, you can just use a screwdriver, pop it right open. There's nothing in there, so you're just going to go ahead and fill the reservoir to the top. Almost there. And then fill it to the top. You can see BBs coming out of the top. And then you got all the rounds in there. And it's the high cap magazine, so on the bottom you're going to see the gear. You want to hold the magazine upright like this, and then rotate the gear, and you'll hear BBs moving around, you'll hear ticks and things like that. Keep going until you don't hear anything but ticks and you feel some resistance on the wheel. You'll see BBs at the top. Just give it another 2 cranks, and then you're ready to go. Just go ahead and, well, you can't really see it from there. Go ahead and insert it into the bottom of the gun. If you think that it's loose or you think it's not in there, just tap it a couple times. Now, it's your choice or not whether you want to put the orange tip back on, but I'll go ahead and put it back on. When you put this orange tip back on, you have to line it up with these grooves right here. There's also grooves in the orange tip. Basically put it on there. Sometimes you may have to twist it around, but eventually it's going to go on there. And then you just take this black lock, and to get it to settle in there, sometimes you have to move the orange tip, but nevertheless you just push it down, and there's a little pin in there, and this thing kind of has a little mount. Just push this down, and then make sure that mouth grabs onto that pin, and then can't turn it, can't take it off. There's nothing more to do than to shoot the gun, so you're going to pick your firing position. We'll go with fully automatic, and take aim, fire.